Please be advised, viewer discretion is strongly recommended. None of the content presented here has been exaggerated or taken out of context. What you're about to hear includes the exact statements from the defense's closing arguments in the federal trial against Sean Diddy Combs. In today's video, you'll hear the defense team's final attempt to persuade the jury, highlighting key evidence, testimonies, and critical moments from the trial. Some language has been censored to comply with YouTube's guidelines. This is a voiced-over reading of real courtroom dialogue based on live reporting from courtroom journalist InnerCityPress on X.com. All parties are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Listen at your own discretion.
After the prosecution made their final push yesterday, today was the defense's turn. Sean Diddy Combs' legal team stepping forward to deliver their closing arguments, aiming to dismantle the charges and persuade the jury to find him not guilty. Here's exactly what went down.
There is a trial set forth by the text messages. Then there is the trial out of the prosecutor's mouths. They are different. The trial from the evidence, what is it? It is personal use drugs. That's all it is. That and swingers, a lifestyle. But the prosecutors have charged one of the most serious statutes on the books. They called threesomes and drugs as RICO.
RICO stands for the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act.
I want to thank you for your service to our country. I would love to speak to you for days. But it's Friday. I am trying to be efficient. I have to cover a lot of ground. But I'll focus on the most important part, Sean Combs. Sean Combs is a self-made black entrepreneur. He has built real businesses that are so outstanding that others create partnerships with them. We heard that from Derek Ferguson. It is hard to be Sean Combs. How many witnesses said they were moved? The assistants were moved by Sean Combs. It was like Harvard Business School. He pushed me hard. Did they always like him? No way. Let's not even go there. Did they like him? Number. But they loved him, even the ones who were suing him. Mia? I'm not going to call her Mia because that's not her name. I'm going to call her the witness who testified as Mia. Remember Derek Ferguson from the Bronx? He said there were not many hiring people like me from the Bronx. There's something more to these businesses. Sometimes the real things in life are hard. No one remembers the easy days. These people grew. It was real. It was diversity. These days, DEI, Combs was doing it at 24. The prosecutors call his businesses racketeering. That's the fake trial. What happens? He gets arrested. They destroy his property. They have a SRT, Special Response Team. They are clandestine, can't follow with a camera. Rampant, they ran. His kids were there, and here, 6 of 7 in the second row. The 7th is an infant. This is who he is. The man takes care of people. Jane came here and testified against him. Today she's in a house he's paying for. And they found it. Boxes of Astroglide, taken off the streets, and they got the baby oil and the personal use drugs. America is safer. 5 Valium pills. When you're doing work like that, we can't photograph you. That's the evidence. What do? They wrap yellow crime scene tape, figuratively, around his bedroom, around the hotel rooms he goes to with his girlfriends. That's a lot of crime scene tape. The crime scene is your private sex life. No one called 911. They called civil plaintiffs' lawyers. This case is about money. Cassie Ventura sues Sean Combs for $30 million because he has $30 million. If he doesn't have it, no civil lawsuit and no criminal case. This case is about 5 minutes. It's about love. Love has been said more than 800 times in this trial. The domestic violence, we own it. We did not ask Ms. Ventura about being hit, kicked, or dragged. We did not cross Jane about it either, but domestic violence is not charged. If he was charged with that, he would have pled guilty. He did that, but he did not do racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He did not kidnap or bribe anyone. The first person to say this was about domestic violence was Cassie Ventura. She made an Instagram post. She said, "Thank you for your love and support. The domestic violence is the issue." She could have said anything on her phone or tablet. She could have said, this was about sex trafficking. She didn't say that. She said it was about domestic violence. Believe her. Believe Cassie when she says domestic violence is the issue. In that moment, watching that video, imagine that. To see their relationship is to see everything that racketeers is not. I am not going to go through a lot of text messages or charts or screen time. It's a terrible thing. Screen time, I'm told. I'm going to tell you the story of this case. They fell in love. Cassie had a boyfriend of 3 years, 10 years older than her, but she meets Combs and they are off the races. Mr. Combs rents a boat and they make love for the first time. They are in an intense relationship, 11 years. Cassie is smart. She flat won. She's got $30 million and he's in jail. You probably know that. The nice-looking men behind him, they are U.S. Marshals. They keep him safe. Cassie has won 100-0. They tell you she's a victim. This is a great modern love story. They didn't write these in the past because they didn't have these problems. He had 6 kids at the time. It's a relationship based on love. Cassie said she was young and insanely jealous. If you're in the jury room and you don't want to go home, read their text messages at the time of the breakup. You will cry. They were selfless with each other when it wasn't going to work for the original sin of their relationship. That Gina. Gina wouldn't come here, but she's out there. Then Kim Porter passed away, and Mr. Combs said what he did. For Cassie, it was the last straw. She made an adult choice and left, like she always could leave. What happened? Nothing. Pick a message from 2018 and read it. These two people loved each other. If racketeering conspiracy had an opposite, it would be their relationship. They were their best selves when it came to sex. There were times that Sean Combs was proud. On sex, they found each other. It's a beautiful thing. You won't find a single text where she says, "I didn't like that sex." It was an 11-year relationship. The issues were jealousy and other women, but they match up when it comes to sex. Swingers. She's a woman who loves sex, and it's beautiful. She is unafraid. Let's talk about Kid Cudi. He came in here. I'm not meaning to be judgy. Cudi comes here and says, "Cassie played me." She did. She played them both. Not everyone can do that. She goes for it. She liked to Sean Combs as she had a relationship with another singer, songwriter under his nose. She's not afraid of him. Was she gonna tell either? Number Cassie is keeping it gangster. She's like, "I'm gonna lie to both." Cassie gets a burner phone. Finally. That's what you expect in a racketeering case. She's the one who got the burner phone. The morning of December 22nd, 2021, the whole thing with Cudi and all that. She had 2 hotel rooms. Whoa, a room for the burner. She was not going to tell nobody nothing. Let's talk racketeering. The judge is going to give a legal charge later today, assuming the first one is the 2004 kidnapping of Capricorn Clark. Let's talk about her, she said. I wanted my life back. Capricorn Clark's parents passed away when she was young. I don't mean any disrespect. She told you. I'm happy she did. Others didn't tell you about their parents. She moves to the Bronx and meets Sean Combs. She goes, super platonic. What? I think she means she didn't want it to be platonic. She's out there, you could see it. She says, "You know, I had the biggest crush on you. I think we misused our dope chemistry." If she's kidnapped, why does she want to go back and work for him? She's getting her nails down with Mike B. He'd going to be mad at me. She says she called 1440 and said lock everyone in. She got the lie detector, and Mike B did too. How was she kidnapped if she went home every day? Is the government alleging 5 separate kidnappings? Paulie drove her home. Door-to-door kidnapping. The SDNY is charging this as kidnapping. It's not a kidnapping. You guys come here day after day, long days, and you come back the next. Have you been kidnapped? Number? At the time, Sean Combs is in Raisin in the Sun. He is running Vote or Die. He couldn't care less about this. The lie detector was former FBI. You guys have the right to say, that sounds like a stretch. Why charge it as a kidnapping? Come to whatever answer you think is the right answer. Capricorn leaves for a year. She makes more money. She comes back. Next, Sean and Cassie are having a freak-off. It's December 22nd, 2011. Cassie has 2 hotel rooms. Combs look at her non-burner phones, sees message with CC about Cudi, maybe called Scott in the text. Something about hiking. Why would he have a gun? He goes to get Capricorn. Why? She would do anything with him. Go to the moon. He didn't need a gun. He didn't have a gun. Cudi said Cassie told Cudi that Cassie already told Combs. Are you following me? Sean Combs has nothing to gain by having a gun and everything to lose. He is already Sean Combs. Capricorn would have stayed employed if he pulled a gun on her. No way. Didn't happen. No gun. Cudi didn't say that. Capricorn said Combs had a gun because there was no gun. Working backward, Cuddy didn't tell the police about a gun. It was written up as a trespass, that's all. There's no gun. Capricorn's story falls apart. There was the car chase. Or was there? Cuddy pulled up next to the Escalade, the witness said. There was no car chase. The judge is going to say you can disregard any witness if you find something not credible, if you see fit. It's all you need. Seems like everything is possible with Capricorn Clark. I asked her, she said, I came up here with Puff. I want to run away. I'm afraid of mountain lions. Mountain lions? I'm not saying they are not scary, but if you were kidnapped with a gun. Number? She doesn't want to say, I went there by my own volition. I'm not saying Sean Combs didn't go there. He wanted to fight him. Fine. Mother, Combs is not a coward. He's ready to fight. At the risk of being sexist, they are men. They fight. We're going to have a good old-fashioned 8 a.m, Hollywood Hills John Wayne fight. The Porsche? Not his style. There is no evidence. Who else would do it? Not evidence. Burning a car is cowardice. Be a man and fight him. What's in the car? Molotov cocktail? Why not show you the glove? I am suggesting something? Yes. That the investigation stunk. It's terrible. 2 fingerprints. What happened? Well, I don't know. You are going to determine his fate on Arson. On this? The DNA was consistent with a female contributor. That witness was not helpful. If it had come back consistent with Combs, they would have bragged about it. Investigator Jimenez never followed up. He tried to find Cassie. Jimenez said Capricorn's brother obstructed him. They fought. I'm not saying Capricorn did it, or Cassie did it. We're not here to solve the world's problems. Cassie's father didn't call him back. The witness was mad. Draw your own conclusions. Here's an email. Why is she calling him Sean Puffy Combs? For some later proof? She doesn't mention any car. Forget it. Let's turn to the London hotel. If you want to go to someone's house, it's not a kidnapping. It's unfair. Cassie is public too. Remember, Cassie also didn't want the tape out. She had a movie coming out. Let's go back to what was said about the hotel staff maybe leaking the footage. They were worried about publicity, not a misdemeanor. Guess what happened? It was sold. The police were nowhere near this situation. Is Combs acting like a fool, calling Cassie and saying the police are about to arrest him? She is freezing him out, as she should. He's just trying to get her attention. He leaves, goes to her apartment. He's banging on her door, maybe with a hammer. Carrie Morgan said, "That's why the police came. A neighbor called. The Intercontinental has no police period, so he cannot be guilty of bribery under California law, as the judge will tell you. And when Mia, the witness who testified as Mia, said she was out of Skrillo money, they should have told you that. Sean was concerned about Cassie suing him. He was not aware of any federal investigation, if there was one. So it's not obstruction. He's trying to stave off a lawsuit. And when it comes to Jane, he still might."
At this point, they take a short break, and then the prosecution says,
I did not want to object, but he asked the jury to ask why the prosecutors charged as they did. We need a curative instruction after the break. He told the jury that the Intercontinental was a misdemeanor, curative instruction. He told the jury Mr. Combs is charged with arson. That is not the case. It is a RICO predicate.
and the defense responded with,
I was going to get to RICO. On the rest, it's fair comment.
and the judge asks,
You said, why charge a kidnapping? You can ask that.
I think I'm allowed to be sarcastic. That's what I was doing there.
And the Intercontinental video?
It's a state matter, not federal. It's fair comment.
Can the government propose?
Yes, after the break.
Do you have proposed language?
Yes, Ms. Steiner has emailed the defense our proposed curative instructions.
Mr. Agnifilo, those three were grossly improper. Just to be blunt about it, the jury is not to speculate about the charge. I will tell them it would be improper for you to consider that. You are to disregard those comments.
We did not object yesterday since you called out Mr. Agnifilo.
I didn't call out anything. There was an objection.
Mrs. Slavic told the jury there might have been guns at freak-offs. There's no evidence of that. It was outrageous. No one is doing anything improper.
You made no record yesterday. Here, I'm not giving the multiple instructions, just one.
We ask you do that at the end, not now. It will suggest Mr. Agnifilo did something improper.
It is needed now.
Let's get our jury.
At this point, it is noted that Sean Combs leans over and whispers to Agnifilo, who takes a note. The jurors re-enter.
Before the break, it was suggested you should consider why this was charged, that it not proper. I will be instructing you on the law. Mr. Agnifilo?
Now we'll talk about Mia. She loved working for Mr. Combs. This was not forced labor. Remember the birthday video we showed up? She was bubbly, popping. That's the real her. You are free to conclude she put on an act here. If Mr. Combs felt it was improper, he would not threaten to tell Cassie. It was consensual. When Mia says it was not consensual, she is not telling the truth. There was no unwanted sexual conduct. Mia's feelings were not platonic. Mr. Steele questioned her about these wonderful pictures and slogans. Effusive, not just a job. This is a demonstrative. You can't take it into the jury room. Consider the scrapbook she made. I'm going to read it to you. Happy 45th birthday. Puff, this is from 1991 to 1999. I hope it stirs up nostalgic feelings. How great you've become. She loved you. You can't fake that. That's real. Don't lose sight of that. It's not just business. He gives people a home. Look at this picture. Think of a word that comes to mind. Joy. There's KK, D-Rock, Fahim. He created a remarkably special place. He moved people in their hearts and souls. When Mia is told she'd being fired, that she is going to leave the special place. Mia, my life is over. KK. OMG, WTF. Mia, that's not funny. Racketeering co-conspirator KK writes, Mia, answer your phone or I'm going to call your parents. That last thing she wanted to do was leave. And it's forced labor? Let's turn to drug distribution. The U.S. said personal use is a distraction. Brendan Paul said these were personal use drugs. He said he forgot to take the cocaine out of my bag. He said, I got the best lawyer in the world and my charges were dismissed. That's what he said. Sean Combs was not selling drugs. Cassie said he was a drug addict. How was he supposed to get them? Grow his own Xanax? Did he have drugs? Yes. They found it in his house. Was he using his enterprise to distribute drugs? Number. You're going to have to think through this. Didn't Mia go work for Madonna? That's how people use personal assistants. I don't expect we're going to see Beyoncé in CVS. The assistants buy Astroglide. It not what the company is doing. This is not a racketeering act. I'm going to RICO. There's no evidence of possession with intent to distribute drugs. David James said he's in Saint-Tropez. He's asked to get an 8-ball of cocaine. I asked him, anything to do with Sean Combs? He said no, he kept it from him. Why would he hide it? It's people in creative fields doing what people in creative fields do. It's not racketeering. I'm going to talk about Cassie. Can you sex traffic your girlfriend? Maybe, if you push them into prostitution. But he's not making money from it. Jane has some texts that are very anti-hotel night. Cassie, she doesn't. People are in love. People are having sex. Let's say your partner wants to do something and you don't. Where does that land? Cassie wanted this, including to be close. It's like, my wife is from Los Angeles. I hated LA. Now I love Los Angeles. Sorry, that's how it happens. Cassie, she is a beautiful, sexy person. She was with Michael B. Jordan, like the most handsome man in the world. She is not messing around. Cassie is not clutching her pearls. This is how I am intimate with the man I love. You could come to love that. You want to be close. Yesterday they said some she might have wanted. Oh, they said Can, Daniel Phillips, and Intercontinental. If she likes 75, can number 76 be sex trafficking? Talk about going 0 to 60. Nothing said to him. She doesn't want to even do these again. Mr. Donaldson Cross examined Daniel Phillip. Let's look at the text. Sean asks, are you horny? She says yes, talks about fantasies. That is their lifestyle. She writes, I'm not going to do too many of these, my mother would. She writes, my p is so hot. They are doing through this together. I'm going to play part of the video. In this Intercontinental video, it's more likely than not, it is Combs' phone. Here she is. I am not going to show you him throwing her down. You've seen it. I am not hiding it from you. Now, there is a phone. And here now, a well-known man sitting in his towel and socks. Looks like Cassie is saying, you're being a fool. Go back to the room. Look at it. It looks to me like she says, go back to the f***ing room. There's nothing scary in the room then. 5 days later he texts, I'm so sorry, she replies. LOL, I was just listening to sorry. They are obviously getting over it. Cassie writes to Sean, how do I know if the drugs are going to be bad or you'll drink too much. This is about the hotel. Cassie told you. Sometimes she hit him first. They are in this together. Okay, she says there was a rape. It did not happen. It is not charged. She was asked and said, he raped me. But there wasn't a lot of lead up. Maybe it didn't happen. Cassie wrote to Combs. Cassie is with her current husband. Something happened. She wrote, I told myself I didn't want anything to happen. But I'm not tripping on it. I know you aren't either. She gets a FaceTime. Boogie Bat phone is her husband. Combs wrote, you act like a broken-hearted angel. You need to stop living your lie. Cassie says, I don't know who that was. I was saying thank you for last night, and I enjoyed it. The oldest trick. I don't know how Alex found out, but she says, rape. There is no evidence of a rape. She had consensual sex with him after. I have to defend this. It is in the case, but it is not charged. Cassie was asked, what kind of pain did Sean put you through? She spoke about his own personal pain, his shame. It's beautiful. She said, he felt pain, and most painful to me was carrying around his shame. Jane says almost the same thing. I felt my partner was trusting me in a very vulnerable moment. I wanted to go along, if I can be my partner's escape. Jane says, I am getting vulnerable with you in the hotel rooms. I don't want to see young Miami on a bigger yacht with you. That's not trafficking. If you get deep into this deep self, this is not sex trafficking. It's people in love being real. Your Honor,
I was going to go to one. If now.
At this point, they take a break and then they continue.
Welcome back. You may proceed.
There was a suggestion Cassie didn't get the same amount of promotion as others are. Bad boy. I think Capricorn Clark is an imperfect witness, but she did say that Cassie got the lion's share. Either side played the videos for the witnesses, but Cassie's videos were on her devices. She said the devices were damaged, but the expert was able to open it. I don't know what role these videos played in her life, but she didn't delete them. In the videos, the hotel rooms are beautiful. The music is great, Usher and whatnot. You were never meant to see these videos. Let's be honest, Sean Combs was never going to release these videos. He might have said it, but no way. No way. Cassie is eating watermelon. They are listening to music. These are beautiful nights. The two escorts, the Punisher, I call him, he got it from basketball on West 4th Street. Though Cassie was really into them. They were naive. I don't think this is the only man making homemade porn in America. I think it is a pretty popular thing these days. Jane, she wants to post things, on Instagram I guess. That's what she's into. I think she loved Sean Combs. You guys know who the father of her child is. You know who she was with in Vegas. She is comfortable with this. The government is not saying every hotel night is sex trafficking. They isolated September 2023. Jealousy over a yacht. Sometimes Jane didn't like the guy. She said one smelled. Then the guy is sent back. 3187, the escort gets sent packing. He's a bum, but they still paid. No sex, got paid. Paying for time. Yesterday they just dismissed it. But that's what happened. Jane wanted it to happen. She called her guy Cabral. She liked Cabral. She wrote muy caliente. Then there's the sobriety party. Jane is angry over Gina. And then she says she regretted it, resented it. But she agreed to do it. Unfortunately. She said that. She agreed to it, unfortunately. She agreed. That's it. We can be done with it. The house. Jane had the worst lawyer in the world. Her low child support from the father, in my opinion. Mr. Combs did the right things. Paying. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. He's paying for the house for a child that's not his responsibility. They watched porn. Jane got him a mobile TV to watch it, so he'd make less porn, she said. I'm not sure that's how it works. The photos, Combs has a big pour of wine. Strawberries in there, but it's big, not like a fancy restaurant. Half an hour later, something inexplicable happens. She slams his head into the counter and calls him a pedophile. The woman Ali is of age. Jane says Combs kicked her doors in, but he didn't hit her. I'm not saying he should, but he didn't. Here's what we do know. A text from Jonathan Perez says they are fighting. 10:14, he says, just normal being jealous. PD says, don't come, all good. Now, Jane changes into another dress. I don't know. No sweats? She says she hides behind a wall for 2 hours. I submit it's just not possible. She's just wrong or lying? I don't know. She comes back. Combs is in the street. No violence. Okay, it looks like she was hit twice. Doesn't look like he hauled off, nor that he dragged her. You know what this is. She is documenting her injuries. Let's talk about Anton. She sees him in Vegas with, you know how, a rapper of some prominence. She is watching Anton have sex. She's asked, "What did you do?" She says, "I showed my breasts. Why?" It sounds like spring break. Then the rapper goes up to her with a question about the swingers lifestyle, and she gives them Cabral's phone number. The story doesn't make sense. Let's say something else happened in Vegas, and then it's the same Anton who comes to her house. Coincidence? The one who shows up at her house is Anton. What she says makes no sense. Anton is a porn star. He has sex. Jane knows they're an investigation. Did she instigate this? Her story makes no sense. Why was she so persistently violent? She says, "I didn't want to do it, but she let Anton in. I submit. They were trying to get past it. Oral sex only." At the end of the day, her story has so many holes in it. You could say, she prompted it. She maybe wants something in her pocket. I'm going to have something. Maybe I'll never use it. Why the unprovoked extreme violence? She doesn't explain it. You guys are here because you have lived full lives. You were chosen. And they chose only 2 of the escorts, the Punisher and Daniel Phillip. They could have given others immunity. Neither of the 2 admit being a prostitute. They're witnesses. If you get paid when you didn't have sex, you are getting paid for your time. In Sean Combs' mind, this is legal. It would be different if a witness said, "I went and had sex," and there was a negotiation for it with Sean Combs. I assume in every porn movie, the actors get paid to have sex, and yet, it's legal. So he thinks it is legal. Okay, let's talk racketeering. Here's page 14 of the charge. The enterprise. The group must have an organization. You'll hear this. Only Sean Combs is charged here. No one testified. I was a part of a racketeering enterprise. This is the greatest divide between the evidence in this trial and what the prosecutors are saying. There is a gaping lack of evidence. They didn't charge racketeering. They charged racketeering conspiracy. They need a co-conspirator, and they just don't have one. They claim KK. The evidence at this trial shows KK is a helpful person. Kerry Morgan called KK and D-Rock. They are not co-conspirators. If John Gotti were kicking in your door, would you call Sammy the Bull Gravano? No, he is a co-conspirator. There is only one trial. KK is not a co-conspirator. KK is a very nice person. There is no evidence that anyone is a co-conspirator. The firearms are not charged. Homeland Security cannot say where the guns were. The Shug Knight story, it's not charged. Dawn, Richard, remember her? Ms. Westmoreland did the cross, not charged. Yesterday the government said, in the videos you don't see guns, but he probably shouldn't keep videos with guns in them. Is that fair? That's a little sinister. Why are they doing that? And it was Cassie who asked to be urinated on. At some point you can ask, can I trust the prosecutors? It takes a lot of courage to acquit. I think that the evidence shows, and you can conclude, that the government targeted Sean Combs. I wouldn't say that if Cassie went to Homeland Security. America is great because between each citizen and the government, there is a jury. This is your house. I am asking you to summon that courage to do the right thing and acquit Sean Combs on all counts. He is not a racketeer. He is innocent. Let him go home to his family. Thank you.
It's time for the prosecution's final word. The rebuttal begins now.
He brought up conduct that hasn't been charged and said Mr. Combs was being targeted. We request curative instructions.
Then the judge turns to Combs' lawyer and tells him, "You should have phrased it differently," but you went on to focus on lack of a conspiracy, and asks him, "What about the targeting charge? How is that not improper?"
No one went to law enforcement and complained. It's fair comment.
He said what he said, targeted. It's improper. A curative instruction is required. They made the argument pre-trial, and they lost. This was inappropriate.
Before the jury returned, the judge said he would add a reminder to the jury instructions that they must focus only on whether the government proved each charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Despite the defense asking to delay it until Monday, the judge decided to deliver the instruction immediately. When the jury returned, he told them directly that any claims about Mr. Combs being targeted were not for them to consider. Then, the prosecution resumed.
The defendant did not take no for an answer. Certainly not from his girlfriends. He beat them. They suggest he didn't pay for sex, that there was no enterprise, and that the witnesses lied. But he flew a sex worker across the country to have sex with Cassie and Jane while he met It was not for their conversation. It was for sex. Remember Daniel Phillip? He said he got paid for sex. When he had performance issue, he stopped getting paid. The Punisher? $500 when no sex. Thousands when sex. I suspect you'll hear that uncalled witnesses were equally available to both sides. Maybe some of these men would have worked for free, having sex in front of the masked celebrity. But they got paid. The defendant is guilty of counts 3 and 5. An enterprise can have unlawful and lawful purposes. KK? Uncalled witnesses are equally available to both sides. Did they agree to at least 2? Yes. Quick hits. The kidnapping is corroborated by Kid Cudi. He said, "She was forced to go along with them." Mr. Agnifilo said Mr. Combs is a fists guy. Sure, when it is his girlfriends. With men, he needs guns. The London hotel? He made Cassie go after he stomped on her face. She wasn't allowed to go home to her mom. That is a kidnapping. The arson? Somehow the glove fell of someone's childlike hand. He said he would do it, and he did. Cassie said it. Eddie Garcia, he believed he could not go to the police under the agreement. And Combs said, "Watch out how you spend it." Bribery. This is guy that can't get his own water bottle or plug in his own phone charger. He's the general. He delegates. KK knows the Wild King nights involved escorts. The only reason he needs thousands of dollars in hotel rooms is to pay escorts. KK reads all of Combs's texts, so she knew. KK alone make Combs guilty of count 1. Drugs. Mr. Agnifilo talked about conspiracy to distribute. But given drugs to Cassie and Jane is distribution, that is enough. Mr. Agnifilo claims they wanted it. The defense's theory is that Cassie wanted to be urinated on, that Jane wanted to have sex with Anton after being beaten, and Mia wanted to be penetrated, that Cassie and Jane wanted to spend days in oil with UTIs and high heels, strange men. Mia said no. Cassie said no on her 29th birthday. Jane said no before Anton after being beaten. These women, stage whisper, had no reason to lie. The defense say it's for money, but Cassie already got paid. If Cassie were lying and already got paid, why would she take the chance of perjury in a federal trial? This is a woman standing up for what is right. Mia already settled in mediation. There's no reason for her to put on a show for you. Jane doesn't intend to sue. These women refuse to let trauma swallow up their whole lives. That struggle tells you these women told the truth. They broke free of the defendant's manipulation. Jealousy is not a defense to sex trafficking. Jane picking out Cabral and Anton was her way of taking back some control. Yes, she texted escorts. Sometimes he told her. Sometimes she knew he would ask. She felt she had no choice. That's coercion. The defendant did hit Cassie during freakouts. Cassie said it, Daniel Phillip told you. And it's on video. The defendant was in a towel. The freakout was not over. There's no separating the violence and the sex. Remember when Cassie OD'd in a hotel room in Long Island and they still had the freak-off? When Jane performed oral sex on Anton after Combs beat here? That was trafficking. Mr. Agnifilo said Cassie won a prize. What prize? Sex with a UTI? Getting urinated in her mouth? It's ridiculous. They had a trauma bond. They were trapped. The cost of trapping them was a drop in the bucket for Mr. Number 1 on the Forbes list. He pushed her to continue after she vomited. He knew she didn't want to. The Intercontinental? They claim he was intoxicated, that it was about a phone. He knew what he was doing. He kicks her. She calls security, so he stays to keep control of her. I want to be clear. They called Anton because he was the only repeat player in LA. They stopped with Cabral after he tried to extort Jane. Whatever words he used about a conspiracy between Jane and Anton, there is no evidence for it. He coerced Cassie and Jane into this, and nothing happened. He raped Mia, and nothing happened. He beat Cassie, and nothing happened. He beat Cassie in hotel on tape, then bribed the guards to buy it, and nothing happened. He was untouchable. He did not think these women would speak, and that Kid Cudi and Deontay Nash and other men would back them up. The defendant is not a god. He stands equal before the law. Find him guilty.
And that was it for court today. The judge dismissed the jury until Monday, when they'll return to begin deliberations. The courtroom will also be preparing the exhibit list and laptop the jury will use to review evidence. With closing arguments now complete, we're officially entering the final phase of the Diddy trial, and the verdict could come at any time once deliberations begin. If you want to stay up to date on the final developments, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.